When you think of great Batman and animated series episodes, you think of such classics such as Mad Love, Heart of Ice, If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich, Robin's Reckoning, Two-Face Part 1 and 2, Joker's Millions, just to name a few. But after rewatching the series on HBO Max, there are so many episodes that I consider underrated that don't get as much love and accolades as the previous titles that I just mentioned. So for today, for TacosandGeeks.com 10, we're going to count down 10 underrated episodes from Batman the Animated Series. Let's kick it off, of course, with number 10, Sideshow. Sideshow tells the story of Killer Croc escape when he's being transported to prison and hides out with a group of circus people. In this episode, I love it so much because you think as you're watching it that Croc actually might be reformed because he's with people that in a way kind of is like him. Something or somebody that he can kind of relate to when it comes to experience of being viewed as a freak or a sideshow, as the episode is entitled. You have a seal boy, you have conjointed twins, you have people that Croc could connect with. And unfortunately for this episode, old habits die hard, and Croc is just who he kind of is. And it was a great character study of Killer Croc, thinking that he's actually going to change, and you see little glimpses of it, but unfortunately Croc was Croc, which is he said at the day. He was just being himself. Very underrated episode. Really like this one. Number 9, Second Chance. Second Chance is such a great episode. In this episode, Batman and Robin are puzzled by the sudden kidnapping of Two-Face, who was on his way to get his face fixed. Now, I'm not going to obviously go too much detail into the plot, but this episode was really good because it's another character study in the examination of the duality of Harvey Dent and Two-Face and the war within each other that always constantly have. This inner conflict that Harvey and Two-Face battle of control of the body and the mental state of the man, Harvey Dent, as a person. It was such a great episode with a nice but obvious conclusion of who kidnapped Two-Face. Obviously, it was Two-Face himself. But it was such a great episode, and it was nice to see a more centric Two-Face of that inner duality. Number 8, Appointment in Crime Alley. Appointment in Crime Alley is a Dr. Leslie Tompkins episode, and in this episode, she's taken prisoner by a ruthless land developer after she uncovers his devious plans. Why I like this episode and why I consider this underrated is because, one, is dealing with Crime Alley, and we know what happens in Crime Alley when it comes to Bruce Wayne. 2, it's a more focus on a more examination of the people of Gotham. It have some of the politics of the real estate that goes on in Gotham. We get to actually see how the economy and things are affecting the poor in Gotham and how gangs actually run rampant and how things are run. I thought it was a really great episode, and I don't think it gets enough praise as it should. Now we're going to head into number 7, A Bullet for Bullock. This one, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I'm not too big of a fan of, but however, I do consider it underrated. Harvey Bullock asks Batman for help when he realizes that someone has put a hit out on his life. Now, I wasn't really a big fan of the person who actually put out the hit, but what makes this episode great is, once again, we get a more examination on Bullock. We also get a nice duality of who Bullock is as a cop and as a person. And we actually get some nice banter and some brilliant score by Shirley Walker. Number 6, It's Never Too Late. This is such a good episode. An Asian mob boss learns his drug dealings have contributed to his son's drug addiction. This is such a good social commentary episode, not just on, drugs, but also about forgiveness, overcoming your past. This is so underrated. I don't know why this episode does not get the praise that it does, and well deserved. Brilliantly acted, well written, brilliant dialogue, great lesson. And this is just one of those episodes you're going to watch and you're just going to go, wow, at the revelation. I love the ending. I love the path and just how, in a way, it shows a Gotham gangster realizing the effects of the drugs and the crime that he's pushing out onto the city. And when it hits home is when the light bulb really turns on, because in this episode, you never know the damage that you're doing until you put a mirror to your face and someone says, hey, this is what you're doing. Number 5, Perchance to Dream is such another great episode. In this episode, Bruce Wayne wakes up to find that his parents are not dead, he is not Batman, and he's engaged to Selena Kyle. I love this episode, and I think it's very underrated because, one, we have Bruce Wayne, which I thought was so funny, is that he wakes up happy, and just the person that Batman is like, wait a minute, I'm happy? Holy shit. Wait, I'm getting married? I'm going to get engaged? My parents are alive? Something's not right. Just the instincts of Batman alone, and having the Mad Hatter be the one to play this type of mind game worked very, very well. It's another character study on the persona of Bruce Wayne and Batman, and just shows you the great detective that Batman actually is. Just the fact that he realizes off the bat something isn't right about this. Number 4, Mean Seasons. This is such a brilliant and even relevant episode till this day. Paige Moreau, a disgruntled model, creates chaos in Gotham as she avenges her forced exile from a youth-oriented fashion world. This is about an Asian model who is cast out or replaced by a younger model, younger actress, as she's getting older. And this is something that still happens to women today in Hollywood. This is something that's been going on in Hollywood for decades. And you could just see it. If you don't believe me, just look around. You see that there's actresses, or when actors get older, they're pushed to the side for new, younger talent. And Paige Moreau was one of those people that felt that she was wrong. And the ending is so brilliant when you find out that she still looks gorgeous. It's all in her head, but the amount of abuse that she's taken mentally, saying that she's not pretty, she can't see it for herself. Such a brilliant episode. Number 3, The Underdwellers. This is to me, one of the darkest episodes. Batman discovers a gang of forgotten runaways living deep within the Gotham sewer system. This guy, the Sewer King, is basically running a child trafficking. He's not child trafficking, but he's running something with children, keeping them hostage, making them believe that he's taking care of them, that the outside world hates them. That's why they abandon them, making himself ruler of these kids. And this is one of those few episodes where Batman is literally considering to step over the line. And there's this one great delivery by Kevin Conroy where he says, usually I let the courts pass judgment and do things, but he said, this time, I am so tempted to do it myself. Such a great episode, wonderful ending. Definitely check out The Underdwellers. Number 2, Growing Pains. Probably my favorite Batman TAS episode. A mysterious young girl enters Robin's life, who's really a scout for Clayface. This is such a tragic episode, but it's such a awakening for Robin's Tim Drake as he's getting a taste of kind of what something they said on The Flash with Oliver Queen says, heroes don't get the girl. And this is something that Tim Drake learns, not only that heroes don't get the girl, but sometimes there are no happy endings. And the scene that you're seeing right here is my favorite scene of this, is when we're getting to see the poverty-stricken Gotham and Tim Drake just realizing just how Gotham really is. This is such a good episode, and I love the dynamic between Annie and Robin, and using Clayface as that lesson worked very, very well. This is a brilliant episode, tragic episode. Definitely watch this one. Robin loses is cool. Number 1, and of course, House and Garden. Man, what can I say about this brilliant episode? Poison Ivy appears to stop her crime spree when she marries a doctor with 2 sons to raise. However, crime continues occurring in Poison Ivy's style, leaving Batman to question her innocence. This is a brilliant episode with a brilliant ending and a great character study. Probably the best character study that we've gotten of Poison Ivy till this day, when it comes to Batman the animated series, or just Batman in general when it comes to motion type of Batman. And this episode and the ending that you're seeing right here, what makes it hit home is when Bruce says to Robin, Ivy had everything she ever wanted, everything that she ever wanted. But for what it's worth, I believe her. When she told me for the first time in her life, she was happy. Brilliant episode. Definitely check this out. It has some horror elements as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll be back with more Top 10s later days.